Fear has many disguises, but its favorite is comfort. Not pain, not panic, not obvious danger. Comfort. Because if fear came to you screaming, you'd fight it. If it showed up as an obvious threat, you'd defend yourself. But when it wraps itself in the warm blanket of comfort, you don't resist. You welcome it. You call it home. You tell yourself, I'm fine here. You say, why risk it when this is enough? You convince yourself that staying still is safety, but comfort is not safety. Comfort is a cage, a velvet prison, and the more you sit in it, the more you forget the world outside exists. Fear knows this. It knows you won't rebel if you like your prison, so it decorates it for you. It gives you a routine. It surrounds you with familiar faces. It fills your days with tasks that keep you busy enough not to notice you're going nowhere. It even gives you just enough wins to keep you there. A small promotion, a safe relationship, a steady paycheck. Not too much, just enough to stop you from asking for more. And in exchange, it takes your fire. It takes your hunger. It takes the edge from your ambition until your dreams feel like distant memories. That's the deal comfort makes. And it's a bad deal, because the truth is, comfort slowly kills you. Not physically. Worse, it kills the part of you that was meant to lead, create, and break boundaries. It smothers the part of you that thrives in risk and roars in challenge. Think about it. When was the last time you felt truly alive? Not just fine, not just okay, but alive. Was it when you were safe in your routine? Or was it when you took a chance? When you were scared but you moved anyway? When you felt the adrenaline of stepping into the unknown? That feeling, that pulse in your chest, that's life, and fear knows it, which is why it keeps you away from it. It doesn't want you to know how powerful you feel when you push past the edges of comfort, because once you taste that power, you'll never go back. Comfort tells you you're not ready yet, that you'll start when the timing is right. But let's be honest, the timing will never be perfect. There will always be bills to pay, always someone telling you to wait. Always an excuse disguised as responsibility. But you know what's more dangerous than risk? Regret. One day, if you're not careful, you'll look back and realize that you traded decades of potential for years of being comfortable. You'll realize that you never built the business, never wrote the book, never chased the dream, not because you couldn't, but because you were comfortable enough not to. And that realization, it burns worse than any failure. So here's the choice. Stay in the cage and call it safety, or step into the unknown and call it freedom. Yes, it will be uncomfortable. Yes, it will be risky. Yes, it will scare you. But that's the point. Because the walls of comfort shrink every year you stay inside them. And soon, there won't be any room to grow at all. You want to kill fear? Start by breaking your patterns. Change your routine. Do the thing you've been putting off. Call the person you've avoided. Say yes to the opportunity you almost talked yourself out of, even if it's small, even if it's messy, even if you fail. Because failure outside the cage is better than safety inside it. Because even if you fall forward. And every time you step outside your comfort zone, you take back ground from fear. You show it that you're willing to live without its protection. You remind yourself that you were built for challenge, not for a padded life. That's how you kill the fear that hides in comfort. Not by waiting for courage to come, but by acting while your hands are still shaking. The cage is not locked, it never was. The door is open, and the only thing standing between you and freedom is the lie that comfort is enough. There's a sound you've carried your whole life. You may not have noticed it, not consciously, but it's always been there. It hides beneath your thoughts, below your breath, behind your decisions. It's quiet, subtle, but constant. And it says things like, don't try that. What if it goes wrong? They'll laugh at you. You're not ready. That sound, that whisper, it's fear. Fear isn't just a reaction. It's not a scream. It's a whisper. It's a soft voice that sounds so reasonable, so convincing, that you don't even question it. You think you're being cautious. You think you're being smart, but you're not. You're being controlled. Fear doesn't show up wearing a monster's face. It shows up wearing your face. It uses your voice. It sounds like truth, but it's manipulation. It's the voice that made you turn away from the opportunity. The voice that said, play it safe. The voice that said, maybe later. The voice that made you hesitate. Just long enough to miss your moment. And the more you listened, the louder it got. It's been there for years, hasn't it? That moment in school where you didn't raise your hand even though you knew the answer. That time you had the idea, but kept it to yourself. That job you didn't apply for. That dream you buried. That leap you never took. All of it. Fear. And the worst part? You made peace with it. You told yourself it was maturity. You told yourself it was realistic. You started calling fear wisdom. But let's call it what it really is. It's a prison. One made not of walls, but of thoughts. A mental cage you walk into every day, lock behind you and tell yourself it's home. But it's not. It's comfort disguised as safety. It's hesitation disguised as logic. It's you playing a small game in a big life. You see, fear doesn't need to scream. It only needs to convince you to wait. Just one more day, just until you're more ready, just until you're more confident, just until everything lines up. But that day, that ready, it never comes. And you know why? Because fear doesn't leave. It waits. You don't outgrow fear. You don't age out of it. You don't graduate from it. You face it or you obey it. There's no third option. And most people, they obey. Not because they're weak, but because they never noticed the whisper. They never stopped long enough to hear the voice wasn't theirs. So let me ask you this. How many decisions in your life were made by fear? Not by logic, not by clarity, not by truth, but by fear? How many times did you say no when your heart said yes, because the whisper in your head said not now? How many moments did you freeze, stall, or overthink when you could have moved and changed everything? Fear didn't need to stop you with force. It just had to make you hesitate. That's how it wins. It waits for your pause. And in that pause, it plants doubt. It shows you every worst-case scenario. It plays the failures on loop. It zooms in on every past mistake and says, see, that's why you shouldn't try. And you believed it. But Janny, it's time to wake up, because fear is not you. It's not your voice. It's not your truth. It's not your future. Fear is a system, a loop, a false god made of echoes from your past and the noise of a world too afraid to live fully. And here's the wild part. You can shut it off. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to scream back. You don't even have to argue. You just have to move. You just have to act. You just have to decide that from this moment forward, you will no longer be ruled by a whisper. You will no longer wait, no longer shrink, no longer talk yourself out of the life you know you were built for. And don't say it's too late. Don't say you've missed it. Don't say you failed too many times, because fear wants you to believe that too. But the truth is, every breath you have is another chance to override the lie. Every heartbeat is a reminder that you're still in this fight, that the whisper hasn't won, not yet. You can hear the whisper and still move anyway. You can feel the fear and still rise anyway. You don't need the fear to go away to start. You need to start, and the fear will lose its voice, because action is the antidote, movement is the cure, and belief is the blade. So pick up the sword, not because you're ready, but because you're done waiting to be ready, because you know the truth now. The whisper in your head, it's not your voice. It never was. It's time to speak louder. It's time to rewrite the script. It's time to kill the fear now